Hello everybody and welcome to another Stellaris video. Today I'm really excited to show you guys the improved Shroud Forged build. With the new knowledge that I've gained since the last video, we can see that we can make some really ridiculous numbers with Shroud Forged. Here's a save from year 22 where we're already making 1.3 thousand tech, fully ascended with psionics, and have a ridiculously strong basic economy that we can build off of to either militarize or push even further into tech to really break open the game. In order to do this with Shroud Forge, I believe it is the easiest way to play psionics, and is also the best way to play psionics, and does involve exploiting a zeros row economy with no downside for the deficit, so do keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and get started and show you guys how to do this awesome build. So here we are, we're playing with Rapid Replicator Constructo Bot and of course Shroud Forge. We're using alloy ships for this build, and here are the species traits if you want to copy them. The other kind of important things are a ruler with charismatic is nice. You can also go Spark of Genius if that's what you prefer. And then for our starting homeworld, I like to go with Deneb for this, but you can also use random or soul if those are things you want. Random is nice because if I'm playing in single player, I like to try to roll for a size 21 capital. It's just kind of fun, as the capital is really important with Shroud Forge, making me not like Soul System as much. And let's take a look at what we have here. A size 15 and a size 13 Ocean World are a little bit disappointing, but one nice thing about this build is you do get access to some extra planets at the end of the event chain. Now, if we're unlucky, they're going to spawn like in a far hyperlane somewhere disconnected, so I really hope that doesn't happen in this video because it's super annoying to deal with, and sometimes you can't even access them at all. They're just too far away or blocked behind something you can't get access to. But yeah, once you finish Psionic Ascension, or once you're in Psionic Ascension, you're going to get an option to deal with the to get the Zeroni event chain, which is going to give you access to 3 new planets. So anyhow, let's go ahead and start with the Help Guide Us option and go towards Psionic Ascension. To be honest, I don't know what happens if you go the other way. Do you go modularity or something? I have no idea. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's good. I have genuinely no idea. But being the one psionics build that's strong, I think it is kind of interesting to play it. I really wish the biological psionic empires came out a little bit better than what they ended up as, but they're certainly quite disappointing, being, in my opinion, too weak to realistically play anywhere. Also really lucky, our starting governor is an architectural interest governor, which in my opinion is the best kind of governor. And I think we'll just immediately jump into manufacturing focus here. As you can tell, we're going to be making a lot of tech, and with Shroud Observation, this should jump even farther up. We have 138 tech right out the gate, which is genuinely insane. And this is only going to increase as we go farther. Yeah, as you can tell, I've also sent my Corvette out to scout for any other planets in case we get any other ones. It's always nice to have. And we can also immediately swap this resource buy to energy credits, because we want to get a colony ship out as soon as we can as well, so we can get ready to take these 2 planets. The 2 guaranteeds when you spawn with Deneb typically survey incredibly quickly, and that means you really want to have your colony ships ready for when the surveys are finished, because otherwise you'll be sitting there twiddling your thumbs, which is something that happens to me more often than I would like to admit. The other thing we need to be very cautious of is deviancy when you play this build is genuinely a problem. As you add situations, like as you get to these breakpoints, you're going to get options that most likely increase the deviancy on your planet. And if left unchecked, if you have more than 30% deviancy, that's the danger number, and you can get negative events that spawn that can potentially lower your stability. If all you get is criminals, it's genuinely, in my opinion, not a big deal. But you really can't control if you get the negative events that also lower stability, in which case the game basically is over. When you are below 50% stability on your capital, the hit to your basic economy is crippling, and I find it hard to recover from. Like, genuinely, because it just completely messes up your build order. You gotta focus on basic resources instead of tech, which is a snowballing negative effect. So, yeah. Anyhow, with that in mind, we should start our colony ship. I've already been yapping for a bit too long. Another nice touch, by the way, in case you spawn next to planets that aren't your guarantees, no problem. What you're going to do is you're going to create a template for every single habitability type. Don't even have to give them a name. and they'll automatically assemble these ones once you make the colonies. And yeah, as you can see, we have a relic world. Ooh, that is awesome. We can make it a Cumulinopolis as a machine. That's kind of fun. I like that. Okay, that's amazing. Okay, I'm less annoyed about our small planets now because, yeah, getting the potential Cumulinopolis as a machine is genuinely like a tantalizing prospect. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the Finding the Voice agenda now, and we don't actually want Finding the Voice that much. What we want to do is we just want to run this until we can take the Prosperity agenda, and then we'll swap over to that. And the next thing we're going to do is there's the safe option and the risky option. The risky option is not build a sentinel post, and the safe option, or the risky option is, okay, I don't know what I'm saying, but you get the idea. If you want to take risks, don't build a sentinel post and keep building tech. And am I feeling risky today? I don't know. Let's build one more Shroud observation tower and then decide. But yeah, I really don't want to get a crime event on my capital, but it would be funny to just like produce an absolutely absurd amount of tech. As you can see, we're getting close to 300 tech already. And once we start the favorite society agenda, this is going to go up even farther, which is just kind of nuts. So yeah, I like it. I really, really like it. So yeah, anyhow, let's go ahead and get a second colony ship started as well. I guess we'll see what the event says, right? Because if we get events that don't raise the crime on our capital, we won't need to build the sentinel post right away. But yeah, really creeping up on that 30% mark. And that 30% mark, you don't want to mess with it. It is really nasty. Can give us some big problems. So another thing we could do is we could probably just queue it up and build it when we need it. But there's no decision that lowers crime. Right? On biological empires, you can make your enforcers work a little bit more efficiently. There's no event like that, or there's no option for gestalts. So we do have to be a little bit more cautious. But maybe we roll on our leader level up a negative deviancy trait, which could help us as well. So maybe we'll go risky route today for the video. I would not recommend this at all. See, we get plus 5 deviancy, or we could lose 1,000 unity, which we only have 100, so we only lose 100 unity, but it'll make the situation progress slower. And screw it, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's see. I've never done this before. I usually just pick the events that make the situation go the fastest, but let's see if we can keep the deviancy below 30 without adding jobs, which is definitely going to be a bit of a challenge, and is going to result in a funny amount of tech. Let's see what we're up to. 360 tech, and increasing. But at some point, we're definitely going to want to swap one of these districts to be focused on our economy, right? We're going to need to, not our economy, our engineering, because our engineering is kind of falling way behind our other resources. This is why it's also so important to get the materials workshop as your first role. Otherwise, that could be a bit of a problem. And the nice thing is we can get techs like field modulation insanely quickly through the amount of physics tech we have, which is also really nice. Spark of Genius or Amplified Subprocess 2? Probably Spark of Genius, because I don't think we have another Spark of Genius on our council yet. So it's going to be nice to have this, making it more likely for us to find arc furnaces and that kind of thing. So, very nice. And let's also just get up and scan this Relic world, because I really want to have an Ecumenopolis as a machine. That just sounds funny. Awesome. Anyhow, at this point, I'm just going to queue up a few buildings. Like, I'm going to queue up this engineering as soon as I have enough minerals, and I'll be back for the more important parts of this event. Alright, our leaders are starting to get their first upgrades. I love feedback loops, so I'm going to take feedback loop wherever I get it. What do we get here? Complex drone output, deviancy minus 10%. Beautiful. So yeah, I guess we're going to go the risky route and just not get punished. That's really, really nice. We're down to 23% stability, or deviancy, so that's good. Yeah, it looks like we don't need it if we're lucky enough, so yeah, we're just going to keep going down this. And as you can see, I've also, we're over 31% from that. Ooh, that's a terrible percent to be stuck at, because that's just the amount where I don't want to deal with it, but it's a problem. So we'll see how this goes. Capacity subsidies, awesome. And yeah, we're just going to put some more engineering in our capital as well, because we really need that. So yeah, let's get that. Alright, one thing we need to do at this point is the Unity on our homeworld is going to get really bad now, so we need to build an uplink node. And after we build the uplink node, we can actually get rid of the archive district and replace it with another engineering specialization district, and actually push out amount of engineering techs that are competitive with our other ones, which, as you can see, is currently not the case at all. But yeah, we just have to kind of build up to that. So yeah, continue down your situation. Try not to get crime on your capital, although I'm really just praying for this leader role to give us the negative deviancy, or we will be building a sentinel post, because if I get the negative stability event, negative 30 stability event, then the game is basically over. And I've already had to restart this once because of a PC crash, so yeah, I don't want that. Alright, quick update. We did get crab on our capital. Unlucky, we didn't get the stability event, so that's fine. So we can just build the sentinel post and prevent this from going any higher. And then we're going to build the second engineering specialization to try to balance our techs out. Throughout this game, I actually want slightly more engineering than my other techs, although I do want a good chunk of society, as society is the key to unlocking machine worlds, which, as you can imagine, are extremely good, but engineering hides some extremely important techs as well. One of them being automation and mineral subsidies. We really need automation because psionics, even with machines, does still lack pop assembly. Like, we have a decent number of pops, like 6 assembly is good. All our colonies are also going to have around 6 assembly when they're fully maxed out, which is good, but it's not amazing. So in order to sustain our economy, we're going to need a good source of these resources, right? So of what am I talking about? A good source of these resources, a good source of pops. And automation districts can automate up to 50% of your pops, which essentially doubles your amount of pops in exchange for having a high energy upkeep. However, the more efficient your pops are, the kind of better the automation district is, because the fewer energy credit jobs you're going to need to sustain the automation zones. So we're definitely going to be spamming those quite a bit, because this is kind of the perfect target. This is a high efficiency build that lacks pops, which is the absolute perfect target for automation districts. Like, for example, when I play cybernetics, you also lack pops completely because cybernetics are terrible. I guess they're not terrible, they're just not very good. So I also use automation districts, but you don't get the craziest benefits from them because you need to build a lot of energy in order to sustain yourself, either through trade or through energy jobs. Whereas with this build, it just seems like a free lunch because your pops reach such high levels of efficiency so early into the game with the fast ascension and all that. It really feels fantastic to play, instead of what I would say is like the struggled experience, or the struggle bus experience of playing a weaker build that also needs pops. We don't even talk about unascended bioempires. Those are just suffering. Another thing I forgot to mention, but I'll mention it now, and you might have noticed already, is we're negative on both industrial resources after deleting the main industrial zone on our capital. And the way I like to deal with this is simply build a civilian industry on one of our colonies, and that will cover us until we can build a final alloy world, probably on this relic world, and just make an Ecumenopolis type planet there, which should be quite fun. Also, you could just put your alloy world on any planet type. It really doesn't matter that much because you're a machine. You have all the machine templates that you need to habitat or to habit any single world type you need. So yeah, just don't worry about that. And let's also continue with these techs. Very, very nice. One thing I want to do is I like to take logistics for the +2 like logistics drones output. And what this does is it gives us a little bit of a trade headroom so that we can trade for any other basic resources we need. And more importantly, is we can start spamming support districts on our colonies for our basic resources. And in case you guys are familiar, support districts completely change the math of like basic resources in general and make them actually easy to produce. So I definitely recommend that for anyone looking to improve their builds, is just find a way to produce some trade and then use that trade to build support zones for your basic resources, and you'll have a much better time than without doing that. As for every new colony we get, the first thing is machine assembly plant. Go disable the hunter-seeker drones because they're just terrible, and then move a couple hundred drones over and Once again, this just immediately brings your pop assembly up to the maximum speed. I believe, yeah, we're probably still looking at around 5 to 6 on our colonies. Yep, they're not quite as efficient as our capital thanks to habitability. But yeah, we're going to need another civilian industry, because you genuinely need about 2 on your first colonies. Then we're going to need an alloy foundry to get that sorted, and then a mining district, and that's kind of all the districts we need in the long run. Anyhow, I'll be back when we're finishing on this situation, because I don't think there's too many more important changes that we're going to need. Oh, we just get an event here. Make sure you deal with this. Don't do preemptive strike. I find it's generally not worth it. Just establish communications, and it's very cheap to maintain good relations with them anyway. So yeah, I guess you could clear them out if you want to spare the engineering tech. I don't. Alright, we would like to coexist in peace with the subterranean civilization on one of our planets. We don't need their pops, we can just send them back, not get a diplomatic incident, and now we get the nice +2 planet size as well, which is pretty good because our generator planets are generally not sufficiently large. I wonder if you can still machine world a planet with a subterranean empire. I actually don't know. If not, we might have to find a way to get rid of them. So yeah, hopefully we can. Ooh, fertility preacher or amplified sub, probably fertility preacher. Just 5% mechanical pop assembly speed is really, really nice. And we'd want to get this energy generation zone going as well. And I don't really want to work any contact drones, we'll just work tech drones here. And yeah, as you can see, we're kind of just surviving on our basic economy and pumping out a really large amount of tech already, 500. And this is only going to increase as we build more and more central nexuses on our capital. And we should probably start to build automation districts as well. I don't know where to build them for now. The tech is probably not even done yet. Oh no, it is. Oh no, we haven't done it yet. Okay, we'll be back once we finish the situation. I'm getting a little bit lost. All right, the first situation is done, and once this happens, well, we have a couple things going. We're researching this. I think. Do I want to cut that off? Nah. It feels weird dropping colonial centralization, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna prioritize this, and we're gonna cancel this too. Let's get psionics as soon as we can. I think it's worth it. We did waste a little bit of tech, but that's okay. We didn't waste the biggest amount. We're also gonna start mineral extraction, right, and start specializing these planets for their basic resources. As you can see, our basic resource situation is not looking particularly fantastic right now, but we do have a bit of trade that we can use to kind of not jumpstart, but fix up this basic economy here. A little bit extra generator districts, and then get those support zones down as soon as we can after that. And we're still managing to run 600 tech at the same time, which is very nice. Yeah, so at this point, it's just about finishing psionics and getting the benefits from that, and we finally get things like geothermal fracking, which will lead us towards mineral subsidies, which is really nice. We still haven't found the automation zone. We've been pretty unlucky with our engineering tech, so we're still waiting for the automation building. But it should happen anytime, because the engineering tech is now very good, like over 200. And we also have favored society active. We're gonna have mind over matter now for an even more substantial boost to our economy. I'm kind of curious to see what we end up with. Like, yeah, 700 tech now, and a little boost to our basic economy as well, which is definitely struggling a lot now, but we'll get that sorted sooner rather than later as we build up. All right, everybody. With that tech done, we now finally have access to psionics. So we're going to go ahead and adopt that right away. I think we're actually lacking a little bit of unity for Psi-Core, which is a bit of a miscalculation. So if this happens to you, what happened here? Mimikyu attacks. Why is the stability so poor? I mean, even though, yeah, that's not great. Let's delete this generator support here, and let's build a drone storage because, oh, what is that fluctuation? You see that? We'll just build the administrative array instead. Why did it go from so good stability to so low just like that? Like the amenities just fluctuated, but that's fine. Yeah, instead we'll focus on other things. One thing we definitely need to do is, apparently one uplink node wasn't enough. We're gonna need a second one, so let's just pop a second uplink node somewhere. It doesn't matter exactly where too much. So we can actually get the Psi-Core buildings down. This is a bit of a miscalculation. I guess I spent a bit too much Unity pre-Psionics. And yeah, I definitely should have built a second uplink node just to cover for that. But anyhow, we do get the Zeroni chain. This is what I mean. It can be very annoying and spawn somewhere where you don't immediately have access to it because we're blocked by some amoebas. But luckily, there is a solution to this. You're going to select a science ship or something. You're going to put it on passive, and you also need to put a person in it. And then you should be able to sneak it through. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. This time I think it should work. But yeah, hopefully it does because otherwise it'll be really annoying. Let's also go sneak a construction ship through because I don't want to have to deal with this later. Why can't I sneak this through? Oh, I guess we need a science ship to explore this first before it allows us to try to sneak that in there. So, yeah, that's a way you can get past this. But yeah, this is what I meant. You get the 3 planets, and they're all really large ones too. So, oh, that's Sol right there. I just noticed. I didn't even notice that from before. So that's cool. I guess that just happened to be there. Nice. But yeah, we get these 3 systems and Sol. So yeah, Sol's not normally there, by the way. That is just luck. That is just like raw, unadulterated luck. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and try to get through some of those systems, as there's some nice planets in there. Oh, and we also get access to this now, so we can go ahead and, as we usually do, move a couple hundred drones over, deprioritize hunter-seeker drones, and we can start building up on this world as well. Though the thing, honestly, at this point that we need most definitely appears to be basic resources. As you can see, our basic resource situation is really looking a little bit down the drain here. Definitely not good, but we'll work on that. And at least we'll have Unity very soon once we get the Psi Core done. But before that, just don't go bankrupt. That's the main goal. One funny thing we can do that I'm definitely going to take advantage of here is, I just forgot about this, I should mention this, is you can distribute Zero, even though we have negative Zero. Which will speed up our situation quite a bit. So yeah, that's just a funny little thing. It even gives us a little bit of extra unity, help us get closer to that Psi Core. Yeah, ideally I would have not opened so many tradition trees and had the Psi Core right away. That's a bit of a misstep by me. So yeah, you might not want to open logistics, but that would hurt your basic economy. So there are definitely trade-offs. And oh no, why did the amoeba come over here? Maybe we can get gravity snares or something, right? Because we have a ton of society or physics tech, right? So we should maybe be able to just grab gravity snares and snare up these little amoeba here. We missed it on this roll, but maybe the next one. Oh, and we ran out of consumer goods. That's not good. Are we prioritizing consumer goods on all our planets? Kind of. Oh my god, we ran out even with 2 consumer goods buildings. That normally doesn't happen. Yeah, I guess it's because we had such bad stability on them for a while. We kind of ran out where we normally wouldn't have. Easy solution on our Relic world. Let's go ahead and build a civilian industry. And yeah, it feels really bad to delete the collapsed spire here because it seems like a really efficient way to build tech, but we simply don't need it. So, council agenda speed. You know what? 50% council agenda speed is actually an insane amount. I might as well discard. And I wonder who we discarded. The cognitive node. I don't know what you had, but we're gonna be zooming now on agendas, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, anyhow, we definitely need those. We'll just purchase another 50 so we don't go negative, and also work on our energy credits, which, oh, this energy credit planet is hella depressed. So let's try to fix the depression on this planet. Let's move a couple more pops over, and then build a drone storage. That should get this solved, hopefully. Ooh. I think we take. Yeah, we take the Unity just to speed that up. Take the Psi Core building, and then we're going to build a Psi Core everywhere. So Psi Cores are a Sentinel post, so we can get rid of that. And then we can prioritize a Psi Core on most of our important planets as the next most important building. And we can now pass agendas at a ridiculous speed too. We can do Psionic Supremacy again. I don't even know if they stack, to be honest, but let's find out. They probably do, if I were to guess. But yeah, 760 tech now. Very, very nice. We are very unlucky with our engineering techs. No. Yeah, we still have not found automation zones, which is why our basic economy is almost falling apart now. Except there are still things we can do, like mineral subsidies, more support zones, better stability should help quite a bit. And of course, the Psi Core buildings are going to help quite a bit just with pop efficiency. And we can start moving pops around. We still have spare trade. So it's not the end of the world. Oh my gosh, we need a construction ship. Yeah, unfortunately, my ships keep getting interrupted by this stupid amoeba drone thingy. So yeah, we're just going to look for gravity snares and try to snare it up. I think that's probably the best play here. Yeah, with this much physics, it shouldn't be too hard, even with terrible tech speed of just plus 10%. Alright, we just got an event here, the Emergence of Dreams. I do want to spend the energy credits because these negative modifiers are pretty bad. So yeah, let's buy some energy credits, also prioritize it on our capital. Yeah, as you can see, we have quite a few extra drones here at the sacrifice of minerals, so let's go ahead and get this done with. And we're kind of moving in random directions around the Shroud, to be honest. I still haven't found a wiki page for that, so we shall continue to not know which direction we're heading in the Shroud every time we play this until a wiki page for that comes out, because I am far, far, far too lazy to memorize that. On the bright side, we have found another Empire who seems very friendly, and it's always nice to have one of these around, as if you want to make contact with the cradle, they are very easy to satisfy if you have somebody who can make pacts with you. So I would highly recommend trying to prioritize like the cradle or something like that if you have another friendly empire nearby, as it's kind of a free 600 attunement to move towards them just by making a few packs, which can be pretty easy. In the meantime, we're going to be trying to improve our generator world farther. Yeah, once again, no automation zones. Very, very sad. It's making for a very mediocre economy. Yeah, we're even on tier 2 mineral plants, but still no automation zones. Also, still no sign of gravity snares. I'm too lazy to go survey these systems properly because we have enough worlds here anyway. We'll get this done at some point in this game, though. Yeah, just hopefully those amoeba don't become too annoying. Anyhow, in the meantime, yeah, just keep building up your basic resource worlds as well, right? Like, you never want to fall too far behind on basic resources. We're already behind on where we should be, to be honest, thanks to the, once again, lack of automation zones, but this is relatively solvable. And we're only at 800 tech. I was at over 1,000 tech like a couple years earlier when I did hit automation zones. Why are we at negative 198 energy? That doesn't seem right. I think it should only last 1 month, right? Oh, and of course not. Yeah, I don't. Annoying bugs like that are just super frustrating. Because now we get the shortage situation for a bit, which is a pretty big hit to our efficiency for a little bit, but it'll recover. No worries. And we miss automation once again. Very, very sad. At least we can continue down the Psionic tree now. So, yeah, at least there's that. Alright, we have finally made contact with some Shroud entities, so we can start to make contact with these. One thing I noticed is I don't have contact with the animator of... Not the animator of clay, sorry. The... what's it even called? The one on the right. The one on the right. The cradle, right? Yeah, we need to make contact with the cradle. We have a lot of attunement with them. And the way to do that is you need to pay 100 Zero. That is a problem when you have a negative 9 Zero per month. So what do we do? Well, let's stop buying resources here and build up some trade, and then we can bulk buy it with our other resources. So yeah, we need to come up with 100 Zero, which is going to cost a lot of trade. So yeah, we're going to need to build up some trade first, and then deal with that. In the meantime, we can just make contact with the entities that we do have contact with. I don't really care about the order too much. It probably does make a difference, but yeah, we're just going to continue to work on our basic economy instead in the meantime because it is pretty sus. So yeah, also as you can see, I'm holding off on this until I have a 50 food stockpile, and we want to help them out whenever we can so they don't get mad. And there's some things that you certainly just can't say yes to that are like really bad events, and 50 food is one of the cheapest ones in the game. So yeah, I built a hydroponics farming bay to give myself access to food, and then we can also sell some extra food for trade. And yeah, we're just going to start to accumulate trade now as well to get ready to buy that 100 Zero we need. And also we get an amazing system here with a lot of minerals, so I just decided to take that as some extra minerals from space never hurt nobody. Yeah, what's wrong with this planet, by the way? Why is it so small? Let's clear some blockers, I guess. And on our capital... Ooh, is our capital already full? Well, we're going to start to move our capital towards... Oh, we just don't have enough minerals. We're going to start increasing its size, just increasing the amount of engineering tech we get until we find the damn automation zone. Yeah, we're producing a ridiculous amount of engineering tech already. 300 is definitely a lot, but we just keep missing. So yeah, what can we do? Yeah, it would be really nice to have tech ascendancy, so once we finish this, that should get a little bit better. Job efficiency for complex drones plus 5% is also nice. And now we finally get access to tech ascendancy, so we're going to go ahead and take that. And I believe we need industry because composer of strands. I usually just give up on making contact with the composer of strands. Let's see how close we are. We're not that far. So we're just going to select much to consider. I don't really care to please them or not please them. We're just going to go this way, and we're going to go counterclockwise, I guess. That's probably the plan here. Because, yeah, these calling cards are just diabolically hard to fulfill. Sometimes they're build an outpost, which is nice, but most of the time they're like terraform a whole planet or something like that. It's like, okay, I'm not going to be doing that with any kind of timing. So, yeah, not likely to be good. In the meantime, also, I do probably want to expand this planet at some point. Needs a few more pops. And then more minerals. Yep. More energy. Yep. And yeah, just waiting. I mean, at this point, yeah, we're just waiting. Really crazy. Not having access to the automation building has been way more frustrating than I expected. But we're just gonna have to wait. And of course, next tech rolls. This is why tech ascendancy is severely underrated on my tier list video. Yeah, we get it immediately. Also, for society research, we're going to prioritize new worlds here, as this will make it more likely for us to find climate restoration, which we can use to unlock the best kind of planets, which are machine worlds, which we also definitely want access to. I think I'm just going to bulk buy some alloys here and get another colony ship colonizing this size 14 here. Just a nice planet to have, a little bit of extra pops. And we will finally be able to start spamming assembly zones down. We also have 1,700 energy credits, and my plan for that is just use that to clear the collapsed spire, wherever that is. Yeah, we can clear this and finally get access to the districts on this planet and start turning it into an alloy planet. As you can see, we aren't really producing enough alloys to be a happy camper right now, and I do need that to change. So yeah, let's prioritize some alloys for now. Let's also move just a few more pops into this planet because it looks like that planet is not really optimized here. Yeah, too many jobs in random stuff. And it looks like we also need a drone storage. So let's get that done. And yeah, that should be great. And we can move, we basically want to get all the basic resource jobs off our capital at some point because they're just not that efficient. And that seems to be happening, so that's fantastic. And the Instrument of Desire emerges. I think we should just say it is remarkable because we do want to move in that direction. And we want to do the same thing for the cradle whenever we find that. We need some more trade still, it looks like. Why do we have so little trade? I guess we deprioritize some trade somewhere. Anyways, we don't need this uplink node anymore, so we'll replace it with an automation building, slide that up in priority a little bit. Let's automate this as well. Let's get rid of this for an automation building. Yeah, we're just going to start to automate everything. And this is going to give us a lot of extra drones available across our empire. And we can then use those drones to probably start producing alloys because, well, we could keep going in tech, but to be honest, we have so much tech, we don't really need to prioritize it more. And this planet is going to be upgrading at basically max planet build speed from now on, probably to near the end of the game now at this point. So that's great. And we can start to finish off some of the tradition trees we started earlier, which is awesome. And I wonder where the little amoeba went. I know that amoeba is running around somewhere in here being annoying, but maybe it went into one of these dead end systems, in which case it'll let me very quickly take Sol and then the desert world here and the tundra world and maybe later the continental world. Because I do want those places. Gravity snares, look at that. You start complaining and you immediately get the text you need. That's a classic for Stellaris, so awesome. And we want to convert this planet basically into an alloy world, so just start building heavy industries on it. And we will need some consumer goods, so we'll want to build one of these as a mixed industry, one of them as a heavy industry. So as we upgrade the planet, we'll get about the correct fraction of consumer goods to alloys that we need, as our homeworld is going to be burning quite a few alloys, making the absurd amount of tech that it's going to be making. As you can see, once we automate those zones, 1.2 thousand drones freed up, and they can now work on other things. And same for our colonies. Very, very soon, these are going to be fully automated as well, which will be amazing. I think we'll get rid of this, and we'll build an automation building here as well. And yeah, we're gonna be off the ground and doing extremely well very, very soon. Yeah, let's get an automation building going over here as well. Awesome. All right, we can finally clear out Sol by starting to launch gravity snares at it. So I've set this ship with automation. Oops, I accidentally canceled it to go capture space fauna. Arming the savages would be a bad idea. We do not want to share tech with them, which is why I had to do the other events that would make them happy. And now you can see we can really start to, like, our economy blows up so quickly the moment you find the automation buildings. Because just look at the production. 25% extra bonus in pops is insane, and I kind of wish I showed this off in videos earlier because I just simply didn't realize the powerful combination of abusing support zones and automation together to make a very efficient energy planet, and then using that energy to fund automation buildings. And this is just something you don't really even need to do when you're playing like a Bio-Ascension build, because Bio-Ascension is so overpowered that you don't need to do any of this stuff. You just have too many pops anyway. But for lower pop builds like Psionics, it's the perfect combination of factors to make automation extremely overpowered. And as you can tell, we're also just catching up our other techs by upgrading these Shroud observatories. As you can see, for every upgrade, we get an increase in the base production of physics and society. And anyone who knows how Stellaris scaling works knows that this is completely overpowered, allowing us to, with just these like 5 Shroud observation towers, probably like fulfill our needs for physics. And this is without turning the planet into an Ecumenopolis or machine world, by the way, because you lose these bonuses. Unfortunately, you can't have a Shroud observation tower on a machine world, which has got to be one of the saddest turn of events. Also, yeah, this gravity snare is working on this amoeba, and thankfully we should be able to get rid of that sooner rather than later. We even get the +1 civic, which is nice. And yeah, at this point, it's just about maxing out our alloys. So yeah, let's designate this as an alloy planet. Too bad we couldn't get this online earlier thanks to our lackluster tech timings, but we still should be able to get up to 200 to 300 alloys by year 30 if I were to imagine. Maybe I'm a bit optimistic, but hey, you never know. And I think at this point we probably have enough trade to... Whoa, we have a very hostile empire near us. To unlock the cradle now as well. So let's just sell like some consumer goods. We don't need this many consumer goods. Let's pause it, because with negative 27.0, you really don't want to get caught with not enough. Did I accidentally buy consumer? We don't talk about it. Obviously, I clicked the wrong button there. Very silly of me. Yeah, okay, we just go buy 100.0, and then we go seek mastery of the Shroud. We wish to commune with other Shroud entities. We can support this endeavor with 0, and this will give us access to communicate with the cradle, which will hopefully be our first 600 attunement. So yeah, in 16 months we'll make contact with that. Yeah, bit of a 0 skill issue there, but even nevertheless, right, our economy is still looking fantastic after automating. But basically placing automation district in every place where we're employing a significant amount of pops, which is definitely looking good for us. On this next planet here, as counterintuitive as it sounds, I like to make, of all resources, unity. As you can see, the unity of this build is not fantastic. It's not bad, right? 200 unity this early into the game, with the only specific unity jobs being Psycore, is not bad, but it's kind of lacking, and you will need more unity to quickly complete your tradition tree, which tends to lag behind your tech tree with this build. Should I delve right now? Yeah, screw it, why not? Ooh, summon a Psionic avatar, that could be funny. What do we get? Do we actually get it? I forgot to read the outcome. We probably didn't get it. Anyhow, yeah, it looks like whatever neighbor we have on this side does not look too friendly. Hopefully they're not a Purifier. If they're not a Purifier, we should be able to make peace with them. If they are, honestly, we should be able to deal with them with a build this powerful, if I'm being completely honest. And I say should be able to because, you know, I tend to have skill issues, but yeah, still should be fine. Like, just build up these alloys. These alloys are going to be fantastic. I wonder if how many fleets we could get by year 30. I'm definitely not a great year 30 player these days, as somebody who plays a more limited amount of multiplayer nowadays. But I've heard that people who play this build well can get 50k cruisers at year 30, which is absolutely wild. I definitely don't think I could do that. I'd be very happy if I could get 20k cruiser year 30, and I don't even think I'm going to get that. So, yeah, we'll see what we end up at. Yeah, definitely behind my practice runs just because of the unfortunate tech situation we got with the automation zones, keeping us really far behind in basic resources. But we're starting to catch up. As you can see, we're like way overproducing energy now, so we can even move drones off energy and towards other resources we need more. But as you can tell at this point now, the problem we're having is creating jobs fast enough, which is quite funny. So yeah, we're just going to continuously build up on every planet as fast as the game lets us, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing from here on out. And we've made contact with the Cradle of Souls. Let's go ahead and start doing these calling cards. And this is why I mentioned as before, it's really nice to have a cooperative neighbor, as apparently we don't have enough cooperation with them yet. I forgot we didn't even have an embassy with them. Oops. Let's send them some resources to make them like us. Apparently they don't really like energy. Maybe they like consumer goods. Yeah, they really like consumer goods. Okay. We're just going to get this up to 100. Offer them that trade. And this should give us quite a bit of agreement with them. And then, let's take a look. What was the first calling card? Research agreement. So, yeah, okay. We'll just try to brute force that through. It might take some time. We'll send an envoy over. But yeah, we should be gaining trust with them now, if slowly. I don't want to guarantee independence. I want to make a non-aggression pact first, because this is one of the calling cards. So, in case we need that later, we can use that. I guess the other thing to do would just be to go get the calling cards for this. So let's just reroll that and start, yeah, like basically everything in the game fulfills those calling cards. Like anything that you'd want to do anyway does. So, yeah, let's just start creating new jobs on our capital, mining world, just keep upgrading that as well. Why not industrial mining site, get more mining districts, and we just need to keep this forge world going at all times as well. Ooh, metallurgic research lab. Definitely need one of those. Plus 15% output from metallurgists, but as you can see, we're starting to pile up maintenance drones at this point because we just don't get that many jobs per district, and this is why we're probably not going to be able to get that many cruisers, is because we just started building that world way, way too late. Part of that also relates to the fact that one of the most important techs, right? The assembly patterns also gives plus 25% build speed, so you can build quite a bit more districts on all your planets if you get this earlier, just because your buildings are literally building faster, right? And of course, the extra injection of pops. So unlucky, but not a huge deal. And this is the most stubborn amoeba of all time. This is like the 78th billionth gravity snare. Holy. Maybe we should have taken the a gravity snare focus leader. But yeah, I can't believe it's been gravity snaring for like 5 years, it feels like, and it still hasn't built anything. That is funny. Also, as you can see, normally you wouldn't be building a Unity planet, right? But I am building a Unity planet simply because we don't need to military rush, right? We probably don't have neighbors that will be able to take us on, even on Grand Admiral AI. But we do want to not delay our Unity trees, like our tradition trees, just because we're over-focused on military, so actually building some will probably be helpful, so I'm going to keep doing this. Also, we're just going to keep upgrading this planet until the end of the game, because like this is going to be awesome. Like the amount of tech we're going to get is going to be just mind-blowing. All right, we finally got our third civic. I'm thinking we just take something really basic here. Zero waste protocols is nice. We could take unitary cohesion as well, just for 15% unity. None of these are things we need that bad. That elevation hypothesis is also a fun one. Good for vertical planets. You know what? We might as well do this. +1 ascension tier. Definitely a bit costly for unity, but why not? The other option would be like hyperlubrication basins. I don't want to exploit that today. It's just a bit too strong, right, with the amount of pops we get, and we're already limited by build speed anyway. So, yeah, so many great options here. You know what? We're just gonna take zero waste protocols is what I would take in most games, and we're gonna swap zero waste protocols out for where'd it go? Zero waste protocol. We're gonna swap it out for elevation hypotheses once our tradition tree is done. So yeah, in the meantime, let's just do some other text. Doesn't really matter too much. Should we take disruptors here? Yeah, I generally avoid disruptors. I'm just used to it because they're so overpowered. I don't want to be exploiting them in a regular game of Stellaris. So yeah, no disruptors today. Are we running out of trade or something? We're getting close. So let's sell like a couple advanced resources. Maybe even sell some energy credits. Like we're producing way too many energy credits right now. But once we start building ships, it won't be like this. So yeah, we definitely need to move some like pops off this planet and let them do other things. So yeah, let's deprioritize the energy credit jobs at least, and let's also try to find some good military techs. Right, we're not going to build ships right away because we don't really feel the need to. But if we wanted to, we would have the option, which I think is somewhat important in every game. What else are we doing? I guess we could just build up more support zones, get that efficiency going, and yeah, I do wish we had more planets now, right? But the stupid amoeba was blocking us from our plethora of planets that we have locked behind it. So let's start building that up as soon as we can as well. I think we need some armies, and we can use these armies to, of course, invade Sol, take the system. Great arc furnace system as well. Oh yeah, I should be building arc furnaces. Yeah, I have had the arc furnace tech for a while, so probably not around Alar. Alar is not a good arc furnace target. Let's see if we have any systems that are like 15 plus is usually what I go for. There's a 19 here. There's 21 on Sol. So yeah, perfect couple arc furnace targets. And what do we want to take here? Necromancy is funny. It's literally just for the large and extra large damage. Super nice modifiers. We can also take something like Mastery of Nature to expand our planets, which is probably the best play in this situation. Executive Vigor is even good if you happen to be out of Edict Cap. So yeah, just keep that in mind as well. And we're going to build a chemical plant because we need that to build the Metallurgic Research Lab and a whole bunch of other buildings, and just continue this Relic World upgrade. So anyhow, at this point, we're kind of home free. This is where we just start like turbo scaling into infinity. So at this point, just keep all your planets upgrading. Like something, just click on buttons on your planets to make sure you see there's a progress bar on all of them. We get more amoebas. Capture them. Oh my god. Anyhow, we'll get these planets sooner rather than later. Alright guys, bad news. We do happen to be next to Purifiers. You know you're next to Purifiers when they start contact engaging your systems and trying to destroy them, so that's definitely not a good sign. That means I'm definitely going to want to invest more heavily into alloys, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create more alloy jobs on this planet. Not the original plan for that planet, but that's okay. I think I want to use... Oops, sorry, excuse me there. I want to use Sol probably just for like a bastion. Just build a bunch of defenses on that just for naval capacity, because we're going to be out of naval capacity if we're fighting a Purifier or something like that. But the main thing is we just need to create alloy jobs more quickly because we have plenty of pops, right? Actually, as I speak, we happen to not have enough pops on this planet, but like we have like menial drones everywhere and that kind of thing that are not currently doing anything that can be moved over, right? We have metallurgic research labs to build, so let's go ahead and slide these up in priority as well. We just need to get as much alloys as we can get here. Starhold would be nice. Railgun would be nice. That unlocks some really important naval capacity technologies. So yeah, also, now that we're at like very high attunement, we're going to delve, and we should get the option to form a covenant, but we're going to forge our own path. I still like the Shroud Shaper path more than the custom ones, and you can see we also have tier 2 automation now, which means we can start tier 2 automating everything for to open up an even more insane amount of pops that we can then use on the plethora of new planets that we're about to get access to. Yeah, I think we finally captured like the things. We're starting to build a fleet, so we could go manually murder those if we wanted anyway, and we should probably also get a second science ship, if I'm being honest, to go capture the few systems here. This has definitely been a bit of an embarrassment. Berlin airport style. And we also have access to our first sanctum. So once again, to build the sanctum, pause time. If you're in multiplayer, you just got to do this fast, time it with a month. And I completely forgot you need a planetary processor to build that, so we will probably be building that somewhere else. Yeah, I guess we could build it on Ilaria, but I'd honestly rather have Shroud observation towers. So we're probably eventually on one of these planets going to get rid of everything except for Shroud observation towers, just to see the ridiculous amount of Shroud observation we can get on one planet, which is quite fun. Um, but anyways, yeah, we're just looking for military techs now, right? Yeah, we need better oil guns. We need better, just better fleet shipyards. To be honest, we're going to need to upgrade these with our starholds as soon as we get access to that. Um, and it would be nice to have better lasers too, but we don't happen to hit here. We could use plasma. I'm a bit of a basic guy, so I like the good old lasers plus kinetic combination. So we're just going to go for that. Hey, we finally have enough trust to start forming packs with our neighbor here. So that means we can start working towards getting the sanctum building for the cradle as well. So yeah, let's start to do these. So defensive pact. Unfortunately, we don't have enough for that. So let's guarantee independence. That'll just help us build up trust. Let's go in cooperative so we don't drain all our influence. And then, yeah, just continue on scaling up. Ooh, Starhold, nice. Awesome, we get one of the best paragons in the game as well. More, we're going to enlist them for sure because we're going to immediately assign this. This is one of the most insane governors in my opinion. First of all, it produces enough Zero so that we can eventually even become Zero positive. And just take a look at these traits, man. Amazing. Like the technology level, the trade focus, very, very nice things. Efficient staffing, just amazing traits across the board. And yeah, we can also research shroud shaping and, work towards fully ascending. Probably should have done that earlier. Kind of forgot about it if I'm being honest. Oh, we get binary motivators too, so we can upgrade our species templates. Everything is finally starting to work out. Let's also see if we can invade Sol now. Of course, we need to set our policies correctly. I don't know why the button doesn't add like a tooltip to automatically set your policies so that you can invade. But I guess we'll just go into the menu and do it manually. First contact protocol aggressive. All right, looks like everything is good. And now we should be able to land armies. Obviously, we don't need 400 armies to invade Sol. This should be nearly instant. And we are one. Nice. And immediately what I'm going to do is machine assembly plant, Psycore, and what did I say I wanted to make this? A planetary defense planet, right. And yeah, just cover that with planetary defenses, and we should be good. Let's move a few cat cubes over just to supply those replicator jobs. And then, in addition to that, do we need anything else? Probably automation district, drone storage. Oh, we're getting immediately like full claimed. Let's see. Is this even a purifier? No, they're just extremely belligerent. Okay. Well, I guess just time to build up ships then. So, tier 2 lasers, railguns, artillery computer. Let's make sure everything is maxed out. We have tier 1 thruster. It just means our ships are going to be slow as they can get. That's fine. And just max out the build for those. We could try to, like, not be less hostile with them, but it looks a little tough. I'll offer them a trade deal of resources anyway. They don't want that. Let's just give them something that I don't really need that much. I have a lot of rare crystals, 400 rare crystals, and maybe that will make them not immediately attack us. Let's find out. Let's improve relations with them once. Yeah, and they're only hostile now, so the color of red decreased. Oh, we don't get official more. That's okay. What do I want? I have no idea who I want to make my Shroud Shaper, to be honest. Let's just pick an official, I guess. Alright, nice. Get 60 extra telepath drone jobs. That is interesting, right? Because I kinda... Let's just put them as the official of this planet here. And they will level up eventually and provide more telepath drone jobs, but yeah, we just want more telepath drone jobs, right? So, does this give plus 60 universally or just the planet? It should be just the planet, right? Because that's not the capital of the sector. So we might have to move our capital to our alloy planet at some point. Oh, this isn't even the... Yeah. So, yeah, I guess that's the plan. Not a bad idea. We have too many energy credits, we have too many minerals, so yeah, let's just start moving drones around from those planets to planets where we lack drones, and this should be just a generally pretty efficient thing to do. And just spam out city districts as well. Yeah, as you can see, this our economy has completely blown up at this point, 2.3 thousand tech. And not an insane amount of alloys, but a good amount of alloys. And yeah, it's really just about building now, right? We also need to be building up arc furnaces. There's a lot of things we should be building right now that it's just about microing. Like we need resource silos, so we're gonna build resource silos everywhere, right? Because we don't want to overcap on resources. So yeah, we're just gonna be doing all of this off camera mostly as we scale up. All right, time to make some more packs. So let's go ahead and make a. By the way, I just realized these guys have the heart emblem. That's the emblem I used to use a lot, and funnily enough, oh, we already have a research agreement. What? Oh, well, I guess it's not time to make packs. We're gonna have to reroll this, or find another empire who wants to make packs with us, and hopefully these guys are friendly. So let's go ahead, add some envoys. Oh, they don't even want an embassy, man. Okay, well, let's do the classic economy negotiation. Aha, you need some moats? Have some moats. Now you like us, hopefully. Anyway, let's just keep delving into the Shroud here. Stay here a while. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful Shroud moment right there. Yeah, nothing useful. But yeah, this is kind of just the Shroud gameplay at this point. We build up our planets, we automate them, and we also are looking for machine worlds as our third ascension perk. We already have climate restoration being researched thanks to our tech focus being on new worlds. And usually you'll be able to get it pretty quickly. As you can see, our tech is very, very high, 2.1 thousand. At this state is nothing to scoff at. Obviously not like Knights tier technology or anything like that, but definitely solid. And we can go ahead and start colonizing these planets that don't even look like they're within our borders because of the funny rendering of them being stuck in this little corner up here. So yeah, let's build the last station as well, and I think we're gonna need another colony ship, so let's build one of those. And perfect. Now all there is really left to do is just continue to expand and build those districts wherever we need, right? I think we should also start putting the sanctum buildings down, right? I haven't put these down yet, but I have a couple. I have one of them, right? Sanctum the Composer. So once again, pause, buy this row, cue the sanctum, and that should get you covered. The next thing we want to optimize is our pop template. Now that we finally have some extra traits to use, what I like to do is pretty basic. I like to come in here. Exotic gas consumption is just fantastic. Then we can remove something like bulky, and we can add either like volatile motes reactor or rare crystals for extra metallurgist output. Exotic gas is my favorite one, of course, because it applies to every pop job. So I always like to have that. And we'll just go mote reactor for now. And we're going to set this as the default. And then with the mote reactor, right, we don't need the 3 different templates now for all the different habitability types. We can have all of them integrate into one because you'll have good habitability on every planet. So we're going to set this as the default, right? And then we're going to like integrate everything else into that. So let's set all of these species templates, whatever we have, to integration. We should have quite a few. I guess we don't really want to integrate, we can't really integrate these Shroud Forge pops. So we can leave them be, right? Can we create a template of Shroud Forge pops? We probably can, right? Probably same thing. Exotic gases, take off 1 negative trait, boom, and then we can set this as the default for the Shroud Forge pop and have these integrate into this single Shroud Forge template as well. So very, very nice. Also, third tradition, I believe we should have machine worlds, and we can start to terraform all of these planets into machine worlds, because like machine worlds are they're just overpowered. Like they are so far and above better than Ecumenopolis that it's just amazing. And even the Relic world will probably end up turning it into a machine world instead of an Ecumenopolis because can we even do that? No valid world. Okay, you can't. So you have to Ecumenopolis the planet. But can we? Is the next question. I don't even know. Decisions? Did I mess up here? Because if I can't terraform it and I can't machine world it, it's just a terrible planet. in which case I'm going to need a new alloy planet, which is fine. We have a lot of options around here. First of all, we're going to build our normal buildings, and on all of these Zeroni homeworlds, we get a really cool building. Like, what is it classified as? I don't even know. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, the Zeroni Equilibrator, or however you say that. Equilibrator? Like, I don't know. There's no equilibrator. I don't know. Anyhow, let's go ahead and do what we normally have been doing, right? And just bulk buy this row and build the Zeroni Equilibrator, or however you say that, on every single one of these planets, because I think it's just kind of cool. And yeah, if we can't machine world these guys, we'll have to machine world like this size 22 or something like that. And that should be more than enough, to be honest. So yeah, we'll probably be doing that, because it's occurring to me now that we probably can't even make an Ecumenopolis, even out of a Relic world as a machine. Or maybe we also just don't have the tech, but... Oh, there's the tech, so let's see if that allows us to upgrade the Relic world or not, or if we have to dedicate another planet. Okay, yeah, my apologies for earlier in the game where I mentioned you could Ecumenopolis a Relic world. You can't. Even with the tech, the decision simply does not exist, which is a bit of a shame. Because I thought I could have both an Ecumenopolis and a machine world as a machine, but it doesn't appear to be the case. The option is just not there. So we're going to divert our end game alloy efforts to a different planet, and we can use this planet for something that doesn't require an Ecumenopolis. I think a good target would be a tech world, because... Oh no, we already deleted the collapsed spire. No, we can't rebuild the collapsed spire, which is a big shame. At least we still have the dense runes. That's a bit sad. That's very, very sad. But what we can do is we can pierce the Shroud here. So that'll allow us to build those Shroud observation towers over here. And I really wish I didn't delete the collapsed spire now, but whatever, you can't go back. We'll just deal with it. It's a slightly worse Relic world than what we could have had. That's okay. Alright, here in 2045, we're looking pretty good, right? Kind of just continuing off where we were going already. Our energy is a little bit sus, but we are working on the machine world here, so once that's done, it should be good. However, we are definitely lacking orbital ring technology. Year 44 without orbital rings is not fantastic, I would say, for general tech timings these days. However, the rest of our tech is extremely good, having most of our machine worlds started already. This early into the game is certainly nothing to scoff at, as they're going to be done probably in less than 5 years. Like, how much longer does this have? 1,300 days, right? So, like, 3 years later, we're going to have a bunch of machine worlds coming online, giving us access to tons of jobs. One thing that will happen when this goes through is we're going to lose a lot of tech power. So, one thing that we're going to want to do is... Zeroni can affect the Shroud directly. Reroute the Equilibrators to trap the enemy. I'm kind of curious what happens here. Monthly Zo plus 30. Monthly energy credits plus 150. End connection. So we kind of backstep the animator of clay. I have no idea the story behind this. But anyways, all I want to do is I want to cover a planet with Shroud Observatory Towers. And yeah, that's what we're going to end up doing with this world, because I believe machine worlds and Ecumenopoli alike cannot have Shroud Observatory Towers on them. So you want to use a planet that can't be ascended into one, like this Relic world, to basically fulfill your physics and your society needs, especially through the use of a ton of Shroud Towers. And then you can use other planets that can be Ecumenopolis for engineering, and probably some extra tech as well. And then we want to use an entirely different planet for the good old alloys, right? Because, yeah, non-machine world late game alloy planet is just not it. So, yeah, we're going to use this size 22, which is already being terraformed into a machine world. And then on our other planets, I really don't know what to do. I guess we could just add more tech. Like, I feel like that's the main thing that we'll be needing. So I guess more tech, right? And then more cities. We can afford that for sure. Yeah, just spam them out. And also, we should be getting closer to getting a covenant with the cradle, right? If not, I think we have a few packs that we probably could be making by now. Yeah, let's make this research pact. That should get this to reroll in any second now. Boop, boop, boop. Let's go on fastest. There we go. I guess it only updates at the end of the month. Now we need a defensive pack. Can we get a defensive pack with these guys? No, unfortunately not. Defensive pack with these guys? Minus 39. Nope, apparently not. So apparently nobody wants a defensive pack with me, unfortunately. So we're just going to have to wait until we can get the next roll of that before we can hopefully finally hit the 600 attunement. This is definitely very late. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter because you don't really need the extra pop efficiency because your pop efficiency is going to be so high anyway. And we are finally a transcendent mainframe as well, although the government really doesn't do that much that's that exceptional. We do get a bit of energy credits, so that's nice, I guess. But yeah, having tore down a lot of our alloy, we can see that we're definitely struggling on alloys a little bit now, so no worries, we'll get that reestablished soon enough on our new planet here. And we've already built up a good enough fleet so that I'm feeling very safe at least, so I don't feel like in any threat of losing out on that. And we're making way too much minerals again, but we kind of are just not being able to build like the jobs up on our planets fast enough anyway. That's kind of the main problem right now, and just not having enough energy waiting in this machine world. Anyways, we're going to keep managing this. Our tech is definitely already looking quite good, and this is only going to get better, so. Alright, we have finally finished our 4th edition tree. This is why I dedicated an entire planet to Unity, by the way, because otherwise we just wouldn't have this kind of Unity production. And we can finally take Cosmogenesis, my favorite ascension in the entire game, and we can start rushing through these techs to try to stack the good old crisis. One thing I wanted to mention is if you really want to progress through the crisis quickly, you kind of need to build a synaptic lathe. And by building a synaptic lathe and by conquering your nearby enemies or something like that, you can much more quickly progress through the crisis. Or you can just try to do brute force through research, and that kind of works as well. We're probably going to go synaptic lathe route. It's a little bit more interactive. Although, to be honest, I'm very lazy and I'm not sure if I want to go to war, but we'll do it anyway for the video. So let's go ahead. Let's build some psionic armies, because psionic armies are amazing. I just realized I have like tier 1 star bases, which is a bit embarrassing. I always forget to build up my star bases in single player, and you should definitely remember to do that in your own games, so that when you do need to go to war, you're kind of ready for it. We're just going to use some very basic cruiser designs, no need to make things too fancy, and we somehow still haven't found orbital rings despite having 3.8 thousand engineering tech, and we're getting most of the rest of our techs through spamming these Shroud observatories on this one planet here. Yeah, this is going to be a decent source of physics and society, despite not being the most efficient overall. And look at the Shroud Shaper, look at him go. Up to 580 telepath drones on this planet as well. And yeah, I think we're probably overproducing a bit of engineering, so we'll probably diversify some of these planets to produce a few more different kinds of tech later on. And yeah, there will be no planet type that is as efficient per job as a unascended world covered with Shroud observatories. I'd say the one problem with that is they don't go as vertical as a true tech planet, so you still will need true tech planets as well that end up as, you know, an upgraded world type like a Cumulopoli or machine worlds or hive worlds or whatever you happen to be, right? So we're still going to go with that. So yeah, we're just kind of building this up. One nice thing about machine worlds is they also give you 1-to-1 districts, which is absolutely insane, but it also means we're going to need to change over some of these districts. Let's replace them with one of each unspecialized nexus so we can get more building slots. And what I'm going to do now is just off camera, I'm going to progressively max out this crisis and put some of those crisis level buildings on these planets so we can get kind of like a final endgame score for what the planet should look like. Alright everyone, so I probably should have done this earlier, but let's go ahead and start upgrading my cruisers. Yeah, we're probably a little limited on alloys right now. I'm realizing now that I'm sure some of these original cruisers have the literal worst thruster tech in the game, and I probably want them to be a little bit faster if I could have that. So yeah, I should probably cancel these upgrades as well. So let's send them somewhere, and then have them all upgrade again. It's definitely going to take a while since we're a little short on alloys, but we're at plus 800 alloys now and increasing rapidly. We're also at plus nearly 10,000 tech, so you can kind of tell that that's kind of been my focus instead of anything else. And basically what I've done is I've claimed 2 nearby homeworlds, and I'm building up a synaptic lathe right now so we can start lathing pops and just get the crisis done a little bit faster than we normally would. just by researching text, you can imagine that it is a bit of a grind to get through. You need to do a lot of text before you can get enough crisis like points to get the late game building. So let's just see how fast we can actually get through it. And as you can see, we're also putting Machine World on basically every planet where that's available now, I think, literally, except for this one. I guess I forgot. Let's Machine World that as soon as we can as well. And on some of these spare things, we're just going to be building research or sync space supply depots. This will give us a bit of extra storage, which is just really nice to work with. And then once my ships are done upgrading, we can go ahead and declare on the neighbors and just start taking them over. Yeah, it does look like we're going to need a lot more alloys for this, though. So we'll just patiently wait. All right, time to declare war, guys. Mostly just here to collect the pops, right? Just claim the capitals. The capitals have like 90% of the pops. That's an exaggeration, maybe like 50% of the pops of an entire empire these days. So we just want to go take their capitals and grab a few pops to lathe. The lathe is not even done yet since we don't have access to the good old living metal. Living metal is one of the biggest accelerants to megastructure build speed, and we just don't happen to have that yet. So we're going to have to work with more primitive methods, which is okay. Just slowly build up. We're at 10k tech already at year 60, which is a very, very high number. Not quite a Knights of the Toxic God number, but not that far off. And Knights even would struggle to have 900 alloys at this point in the game, and this build would definitely run over Knights between year 30 and 50 with the sheer overwhelming amount of alloys that this build could potentially make compared to Knights, which is very, very cool. Yeah, I would imagine a good player could comfortably, if ship focused, and by dropping down to just under 1,000 tech at year 30, probably be making 400 to 500 alloys at year 30, which is pretty crazy to think about. And yeah, I mean, like I would love to see what like a really good player like Pax or something could do when piloting a build of this power level, but I haven't seen him play multiplayer for so long, so the good old days of Pax dominance might just be over. Anyhow, this should be like a straight line drive to their capital, basically. Not much. I don't expect to see much resistance here, which is really nice. And how is our lathe doing? 79%. Nice. One tip I can give you is when you're building a lathe, set your ships, or anything that takes a long time, set your ships to passive. This means there's less possible events that could possibly interrupt it, especially when you're, like, say, playing Void Dwellers with habitats. A lot of things could go wrong. So leaving your ships on passive, like, you'll literally lose if, like, a asteroid spawns or something like that. Everyone's probably familiar with the asteroid event, where there's an asteroid that, spawns in, and that can make your ship run away. So you definitely don't want to get your long builds canceled by something like that. So yeah, just be careful. Let's have this ship stop following now, so we can start invading the planets one by one. And we can also fly down south and start claiming this. It looks like the con is going crazy. I do have the crisis set on 25x this game. So I should probably start preparing to deal with the con as well, because I don't look forward to fighting them with these ships. So I'll probably go using... I have battleships, right? I have the most generally versatile battleship designs available already to me. I have tachyon lances and kinetic artillery. I do like that combination quite a bit, so we're definitely going to be taking advantage of that. Yeah, we have our 3 kind of main star bases built up here. And like, yeah, this fleet was still upgrading. I think it's done now, so we can finally go ahead and bring it out. And just, use it to add occupation, I guess. Yeah, let's just occupy all their star bases. This planetary invasion is taking a long time, so I assume the width is not great. But psionic armies do very good, I would say, in low combat width situations, which I tend to like because each individual army is quite strong. Which is great. So let me go ahead, and this is probably my favorite ship design in the entire game, because it simply has no weaknesses against AIs. It is certainly weak to many different builds against human players, torpedoes specifically. It definitely get wrecked by maulers as well, as the ships would not be fast enough to kite the maulers, and they would fly and destroy you. Yeah, against maulers, you really want something like hangars or something like that. That's what I believe works. I haven't tested it out exactly. It's really hard to get good testing in single player. I'll definitely set it up if the ship rework ever comes in, because I'd be really curious to know exactly how to beat every ship design as well. So that is a plan for the future. And yeah, this is going to be our battleship design for most of the game. So let's go ahead and make that Year 60 for basically complete tech, like tech ship techs. The only thing we're missing is jump drives at this point. That's kind of important. Um, is honestly not bad. I'm decently happy with that. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of go ahead now and continue building up. I do wish that they somehow made psionics playable. Like I kind of want to go on a little rant here as well. Is I do wish they somehow kind of made psionics more playable for regular biological empires. I think the fact that psionics spent all this time hyping up a rework and an entire update for it, and at the end of the day, the only build that I really want to play that's psionics is a machine-based build is a little bit disappointing. Of course, if you're not a meta slave like myself, you're free to play weaker builds. It's just so tragic with the pop growth that you start with like 4 on your capital, and unless you change the game settings, you just don't get very much more pop growth on any planet. So you're just perma bottlenecked, waiting for pops or having to siege them from your opponents. And trying to outscale them as a psionic empire is genuinely not even easy when you're playing on Grand Admiral no scaling, and the difficulty modifier enabled. Like, it is hard. So you both need to do conquest and you need to outscale them, and even with automation zones, like there's no pops to automate in the first place, and you have no tech to work with because you have no pops. It is just brutal. I would strongly prefer if they somehow gave us a way to have enough pops as like a Psionic Empire. I don't know how it could be done. I know, for example, one of the little enclaves in the Shroud Patron gives you 500 pops every time you click on. I forget. I don't know where it is exactly. I personally find that amount of pops is not the most significant. Hey, 500 pops is a lot, especially in the early game. But with the automation districts, you can see that we don't really struggle with pops. I mean, we're piling up maintenance drones, if anything, in a lot of places. So, yeah, not the most extreme thing. And I think we should put an ascension tier or 2 on this as well. That could be quite helpful. I mean, our Unity production still sucks, unfortunately. I guess that is just a byproduct of being the kind of empire we are. So yeah, I mean, like, where is our? I know we have one planet that we designated to unification. Yeah, here it is. As you can see, yeah, it's another planet which is just piling up with maintenance drones, which is why I'm saying, like, with a decent build, you still don't worry about pops that much, right? But like, I don't know. I don't know how they could. I don't know how they could make it so that psionics could be viable. I think the real answer is just tuning down pop growth and pop replacement strategies for every other build, because there's just too many pops in the game in general, to the point where pops feel completely, I would say, inconsequential. They don't feel worthless, right? They're very valuable, and I feel like every empire should have a bit more of a struggle to produce as many pops as needed. Like when Synth came out, Synth was completely overpowered simply because it was the first build in the game which could outbuild pops compared to jobs, right? You would have more pop production than you could actually make jobs in many cases. You'd have 20 pop growth from year 15 if you played Synth Fertility to the end of the game, and with that pop growth, you could really go crazy on scaling. Whereas a normal build would struggle with pops for basically the entire game, whether it's cybernetics, psionics, and they would have about the same pop efficiency, but much less pops to work with. And I kind of miss the days before Synth Ascension even existed in a way that gave us that many pops. Before modularity, before Machine Age, where like a 9 or 10 pop growth was like a completely end game number that you could only get on a super well optimized Ecumenopolis, or something like that. And I kind of miss that. I think pop growth should not really comfortably get above 10. And do keep in mind, a set pop growth of 7 is equivalent to 14 if you have a good source of energy credits, such as Machine Worlds. Also, I think Ecumenopolis not having energy districts is diabolical. Genuinely diabolical, because that means the only way to make enough energy is trade. So you kind of have to play a trade empire with the Cumulonipuses. Otherwise, there's no way to get endgame energy numbers. Like this simple energy planet without a energy building, because I forgot about it, is making 5,000 energy credits per month. That is a Dyson sphere. We have a full Dyson sphere worth of energy credits coming from one planet in order to kind of stay relevant. Very incredible, you know what I mean? And I should be definitely moving some menial drones over here. We have tons of maintenance drones piling up all over our empire. We're not really managing this well, but it's a bit of a tedious process to manually migrate the pops anyway. But yeah, we're getting a beautiful amount of alloys now as well, 1.3k. We're also flying into the heart of the AI Empire here. I'm not really worried about their fleets because I believe that our designs are probably just better, and we also have 100,000 battleships sitting on our capital, ready to go now. Yeah, anyhow, let's continue to just pile up battleships, I guess. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, we need a way to just lower the amount of pops in general. I think power creep in this game, like you can always play a weaker build, right? I can always go play a random build that struggles to do anything in the game. And while that is fair, it just doesn't feel like something that you would want to do when other builds like this exist and you know how to play them. It feels like you're just deliberately throttling yourself, and it's not that fun. Like, I would always want to play the stronger variants of builds that do exist. Maybe not the strongest, but like, I'm gonna play Shroud Forged instead of regular Psionics if I had access to both, right? Because why would I want to put myself through having 4 pops per month for the entire game? Not the funnest, right? So yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how to fix it, but I would love to see just pop growth reduced in general. Automation zones are way more powerful than I expected because, like, they have. I don't think they're as expensive to maintain as they were when they first came out. Or maybe they are. I just didn't realize how to use them correctly, which is totally a possibility. But now that I kind of had the feeling of using them well, they are certainly really, really good. And it brings a build like Shroud Forge to the very forefront of the powerful builds in the game. Anyways, little rant over. We're just going to continue to try to work towards finishing the crisis here. I've been kind of AFK, pushing through the enemy. I don't know what our achieve war goals is like. We don't have Imaka occupied yet, so once we have that done, it'll probably be fine. So we're going to go ahead and peace out this war off camera. It's a little bit tedious, right? It's just marching through their territory, not really much thinking. They submitted to the Khan and not... Whoa, okay. So, yeah, as you can see, my cruiser fleet will not be beating that. But yeah, I just got war dodged, funnily enough. So I don't get the capital, which means I don't get to lathe anything, which is a little bit sad. But okay, we're gonna need to build up some fleets to beat this 25x crisis. We probably outranged them by a decent amount already, so it's not looking too bad, to be honest. Especially with our battleship fleet building up continuously here. So let's just max that out. And we'll probably be fighting the Khan, actually, as the real battle here. What else do we need? Where is our alloy world? Yeah, I think the plan is put alloy foundries everywhere. We're going to need more alloy foundries. We're going to need more industry nexi. And time to move all the maintenance drones. Alright, let's go ahead and reclaim. I think we already have the claim, right? I think we have the claim on their capital. Yeah, let's go ahead and take their capital. Declare war, conquer, claim. Yeah, I got a little delayed from last time. Some of our ships got caught by the Khan. That's okay. Yeah, they have a little Khan support here, 400,000. I'm curious how our artillery battleships will compete into that. Probably pretty well. Let's turn on all the edicts as well. Just give ourselves every advantage that we can get. Why not? We also have positive zero now, so we can even use some of these things like the Shroud Observation and Shroud Bonded edicts. I didn't even realize we were positive zero. Thank you more. You are amazing, right? Like, and now that we're down to just a single planet that's draining, zero, yeah, it's quite good. Look at this, by the way, 2,500 tech each from a planet that is just a regular planet, not a Cumulonipolis. Amazing. Another thing I've done is I made a replication world. As you can see, there's already a 1,500 maintenance drones piled on it, but This world is literally just 2 replication hubs. We're going to put more replication buildings on it when we get access to that. And the point of this world is obviously to create enough pops to do whatever we want with. So, for example, we can either move them here or we can move them to our lathe even and just start get some purging going, you know what I mean? And by lathing some pops, like the tech is whatever, we don't really care about that. It's the advanced logic that we're really after. Oh, that's not producing a lot of advanced logic. Is there a building that we can use that produces more advanced logic? Ah, yeah, it's the wrong one. So we need the amplified speculative. Okay, we built the wrong ones. That's fine. We'll swap them over, and we'll also lathe all the pops from this homeworld over here. And that should be fine. And the Khan doesn't even appear to be interested in chasing us down, which is perfectly fine with me. I'm just gonna sit over the capital and try to get that claim on our side, and then we should be fine. We also found the voice. Nice. So yeah, we're gonna cut to when that's done. You know what? This could be pretty exciting. There's a big Khan fleet in this system. I think it's like, I think I saw it fly in, and oh yeah, that's quite a bit. That is what, like 600k, and we only have 400k here. But I believe if we have the right combat computers, we should have some good kiting behavior here, which means we should be able to take it out. And yep, I mean, I can't tell exactly what's going on here. We can see most of our battleships are kind of spread out. Tachyon lancing them down from far away. We are taking some damage, though. More damage than I thought I'd be taking, if I'm being completely honest. That's a bit annoying. I wonder if we'll actually even come out on top on this. But we don't seem to be taking the most damage in the world. Yeah, we only are occasionally getting hits. I think our ships probably aren't fast enough. Or I think if we forgot to put artillery computers on, that would explain a lot, but I believe we did. Yeah, we have artillery computers. We have double, triple afterburner as well, so we're quite fast. Yeah, I guess it's just a matter of hitting or not hitting. We should put the jump drives on as well. Why not? And there we go. How do these wars keep piecing out? I want the capital claim. Oh my god. And now we can't declare war again for another decade. I don't get it. I don't get it. I've played this game for hundreds of hours. I never understand the war mechanics. This is why I SimCity in a corner. Okay, that's a bit frustrating. I guess we'll just rely on our good old assembly world for that. Then, okay. Alright, so after that failure to conquest anything, we have a new plan, which is we now have, through research, an existential crisis war goal against any empire we like. So we can just declare war, wipe them out, and I think, like this, we should be able to collect quite a few pops, and just, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for anyway. So we can send over our battleship fleets as well. Honestly, I could just jump them over. I'm a bit lazy. I'm still collecting armies because I must have accidentally run my army into an enemy or something because I don't see them. Maybe I can find them over here. No, I don't see a significant transport fleet, so looks like we're going to need to make some new armies. Why are the Conrad Mercantile Union fleets over here? Okay, we'll send the cruisers to deal with their fleets, and then we'll just send the battleships into their territory. And yeah, slowly fly them in. I don't think we're going to run anything too dangerous. The Khanate fleets at this point are probably not much compared to our battleships, and we should just completely wreck them. So yeah, we're going to use these fleets to power the lathe, and then we're going to use the lathe to collect enough advanced logic to hopefully advance to tier 4 or 5 without spending too much time. Yeah, I can't produce enough pops to just lathe my own pops currently, so yeah, that's kind of the plan. And whoa. Okay, they jumped into my systems way faster than I expected, which is fine because we're going to be flying into theirs pretty quickly as well. How is our armies doing? Yeah, already 1k. Psionic armies are amazing. We built up 1,000 in like just a matter of months, which is awesome. And we get access to the Eater as well. They will have pretty easy tasks for us to do. So yeah, let's go ahead and set these on aggressive, have them merge up. We can even give them a commander, why not? Such raw power. And yeah, we're going to want to satisfy these things. So like build armies, we're already doing that, but might as well queue up some more. You can never have, oh, we have mega warforms now. Let's build some of those. No idea how they compare to psionic armies, but yeah, let's go in there. And these can be sent to Amaka, where we're fighting a pretty fair battle, to be honest. I should wait for the jump drive cooldown to go off because I don't believe this is the full power of my ships, no? 340. No, they are full power. They're only 400k. I honestly thought I had more. Maybe they're just more powerful in my own systems. But yeah, let's just jump in now. Yeah, I definitely don't want to jump in with the jump drives active because then I would get completely owned. Oh, they have 664,000. Did I go in piecemeal? Of course I did. Oops. Well, this will definitely test the kiting behavior of our ships. As they make contact, they start kiting backwards. It does look like it's working properly, so we aren't actually going to be taking too much damage. I say as I take a bunch of damage, but we probably won't lose too many ships at least. It also does look like the jump drives were active because now that they've jumped in, the fleet power has nearly doubled. So yeah, I guess the jump drive penalties weren't completely negated yet, which, oops. That's going to cost us quite a few battleships. No worries, we'll just resupply those. You know, little battleship resupply mission there. Never hurt nobody. I just realized these guys are probably controlled by the Conet as well. But with this existential crisis war goal, hopefully we can just take their systems and get their pops, right? How many pops are in here? Like, this is the problem with AIs, is they don't know how to move pops over. So their planets start off with 0 pop growth, and they have just 0 pops for the entire game. Which is not really what you want to see, right? So yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of just the way things are. Yeah, those battleships took some big damage, so we're going to jump them home here and get them repaired up. And then we'll come back in a second. Let's go ahead and... What is this? Planet thrusters, don't really care. I have no idea what that results in, by the way. Why is my fleets not invading this, by the way? There's just no way. Yeah, they have 0 armies. Aggressive? Hello? Oh. They have already invaded. Oops. I'm really stupid. I'm really stupid, guys. Anyways, let's start resettling these guys to the lathe. Lay them up. Conrith, goodbye. Do I have enough? Yeah, I have enough influence to literally just throw influence into the void. I don't care. And then here, I think we have some planets on Sol, right? Where's Sol? Sol 3. Yeah, we have some... Oh. Oh, yeah, humans. Oh, there's still a few left. Okay. Well, let's lathe them up as well. Why not? Make some advanced logic. Only 3 advanced logic. Well, I honestly thought it would be more. Oh well. Let's get these fleets repaired. And I'm just going to repeat this until I eventually take over their empire. Obviously, having to kill some Khanate fleets, once they're dead, I don't have to kill them again, so don't have to worry about that anymore. And we can also get a restock of ships and even make a 3rd fleet at this point. We have tons of alloys. See, they didn't even use all our alloys. Nice. And just keep researching techs, of course. I don't want to do auto tech yet because there are some auto techs that I don't want to do. Oh, and the Great Khan is dead. Perfect. And let's just manually fly our ships back in, I guess. Yeah, we are definitely... I thought I had more fleets. Exactly. Yeah, there should be about 300,000 fleet power, not 200,000. So I definitely flew in with my jump drive debuff active. I don't know where to see if they have the jump drive debuff active, to be honest. Anyhow, yeah, it's just going to be a bunch of annoying war stuff. So let's go ahead and do this off camera. Alright, as we gain access to these systems, like Savasia, this is an amazing amount of pops to lathe up, so let's go ahead and just resettle a few thousand of these guys into our lathe, and we should get some good, juicy advanced logic. Yeah, this is a lot of clicks, by the way. Maybe we should be able to control or shift click. I'm also just going to destroy the colonies. I don't want to deal with releasing them as vassals and making border gore. We have enough influence for this. So I'm just gonna literally just destroy these colonies, right? And Synaptic lathe, making 60 advanced logic per month now, and a decent amount of tech, which is really nice. And it's gonna rapidly burn through it, but we're gonna get more very soon as we destroy the galaxy in the name of science. So clearly, I'm obviously a benevolent species. Okay, I'm just very technologically driven. Okay, we need a little bit of human subjects. We don't worry about it. And we can finally get rid of the composer of strands in exchange for the whispers of the void, which is really nice. We finally be able to get some more of those shroud buildings, whatever they're called. What are they even called again? I forget where I have my single one. Yeah, here we go. The in sanctums, right? Is that we're going to be able to finally get some of the sanctums active. I imagine I already have Eater active, or I'm getting really close to it at least. Yeah, you can see these rapidly going through. Claim a system. We can just pass through that, and yeah, immediately we're up to 600 in that. Cradle doesn't like us anymore, that's okay. And we also have the Whispers of the Void now, so that's going to be something very nice. Another planet here where I think you already know what we're going to do. So, yeah. How much advanced logic are we getting now? 89. Nice. 89 per month is actually a decent supply of this, although we're probably getting about as much from tech. So, yeah, not as fast as I was hoping for, but decent nevertheless. We should also be working on megastructures and stuff, as that would be a great source of advanced logic, specifically the science zone, but I don't know if I have that building anywhere. I also don't think I have enough. Yeah, I can't build two at once because I don't have enough ascension perks, so I guess we'll go ahead and take that as an ascension perk, Master Builders. I think Master Builders is better than the Tier 2 one, which is, what is that thing even called again? Galactic Wonders. I don't think Galactic Wonders is very good these days, right? Because, simply speaking, you don't need those Galactic Wonders anymore. You just need more regular megastructure build slots, as they're typically more important these days. And we even have another large battleship fleet again, so we can use this to start like parallel declaring war on most of the empires near us. We're just going to declare wipe them out on everyone, so we can just keep stacking more and more and more advanced logic. That's all we need. Yeah, the influence, we're definitely running out of it. We're going to have to be a little careful in the future, but that's fine. Oh, we still have some cheap techs left already as well, which is nice. And I'm just going to keep doing this, so this is going to take a while though. Alright, thankfully we finally managed to reach Tier 5 on the Crisis level, meaning we're going to get access to a bunch of very, very cool technologies now. And the Horizon Needle, so at this point we're very, very close to being able to max out some of these planets, and I'm just going to do it very, very quickly off camera, or it'll take me a while to be honest, because it definitely runs pretty slow at this point. And yet, it's taken a while to stack up the Crisis level. Yeah, basically the earlier you get Cosmogenesis, the better. That's why Knights are so good, is because you can stack the objectives so much faster just by doing cheap technologies. Researching a new technology is 80 points, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're doing one technology a month for like 10 years in the game, that adds up to a lot. And most of our Nemesis points probably came through researching advanced infinity theses, which gives 750 each. The lathe was a good idea, but it honestly wasn't that efficient, producing a pretty minimal amount in exchange for a lot of pops and a lot of war micro, which I probably could have just done on my planets to get even more out of it. But at this point, we're going to go ahead and research the Hyperforge, the Quantum Innovation Nexus, and kind of max out some of these planets and see what that looks like. So we'll be back in a bit. Alright, as we draw to a close here, with the help of instant build, I've maxed out this planet. We can see that it's now making a pretty substantial, what is this, like, very close but not quite to 20,000 tech, which is quite good overall. This is roughly in line, if not just a little bit weaker than something like a Biomorphosis build. Biomorphosis builds are still easier to play because the pop growth is so much easier to come by. For example, our dedicated pop growth world here, we've had to relocate some pops off to populate our homeworld, is making about 50 pops, but a similar designed planet with Biomorphosis, with Neuroregeneration Institutes, would probably be making much closer to like maybe 200 to 300 pops per month, which is kind of a whole different ballpark when it comes to just filling out jobs. And Revitalized Institutes also produce tech, meaning you get a ridiculous amount of society tech on the side. So overall, Shroud Forge is not as strong as it was when the Shroud Shaper Governor was a little bit more overpowered. Nowadays, even with the Shroud Shaper Governor, you just simply don't get that much extra telepath jobs, as it's now a flat amount that scales with leader level, and while it can scale up to be decent, you don't get the same level of pop efficiency as you even do with Biomorphosis. So, overall, with that being said, this is still a plenty strong build. I would definitely say it has one of the stronger year 30 to 40 periods in the game, probably even stronger than Overtuned. Maybe not as strong as Overtuned, which is maxed out for alloys instead of something else, but certainly very, very, very good. Its tech level at year 10 to 15 is also basically unmatched throughout the game, hitting 1,000 tech in that time frame, and having 300 to 400 tech right from the early game is really, really good. And great for, your 30 military rushes or builds that want to power spike quite early and getting a nice free ascension. So overall, I really enjoyed this build. Hopefully you guys can try it out, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.